Madam Mayor, I can make the report whenever you're ready.
Okay, Mrs. Peak, could you please call us out of closed session?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The council has reconvened from closed session during which it discussed pending litigation under Government Code Section 54956.9 sub D sub 1, City of San Marcos versus Gringo Industries, Inc., and Hector Rubio, San Diego Superior Court, North County Division Case Number 37-2023-006579-CU-CR-NC. The council discussed the matter with city attorney and provided direction on settlement parameters to be presented to the defendants. And there was no further report. And that concludes the closed session report.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Peak. With that, I would call the meeting adjourned, and then we will go right into our regular council meeting for today, which is January 28th, 2025, our 62nd birthday. We have a little proclamation. We had a little bit of cake that was donated, an ice cream cake by Winston's Ice Cream, and then also Maya's Cookies. They collaborated and made something really special for us. So anyway, we're celebrating this month. So if you could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then I have an invocation. God, we ask your blessings on those who have been called to lead the community in which we live, play, and work. Guide us peacefully through debate. Remind us that we are not only leaders, but also servants, and that it is our responsibility and ours to serve the common good of all. Grant us the wisdom and courage to know what to do is right, good, and true. May we always speak out when it's time to speak out, and listen patiently and receptively when it is time to listen. May we always be guided by the spirit of community, by the spirit of justice, and by the spirit of love. Amen. Okay, next up, do we have, I keep thinking I'm going to look over and see Mr. Skullick. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Could we please have the roll call?
Councilmember Lilbang.
Present.
Councilmember Musgrove is absent. Councilmember Nunez.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Sinella.
Here.
And Mayor Jones.
Here. Okay, with that, we are going to go in the front. We have Human Trafficking Prevention Month this month also. So if the council could join me in front, please. Okay, January is the Human Trafficking Prevention Month. We also have with us today Lifeline Community Services and Brian Smith joining us this evening, I think. Yes. Oh, I'm like, wait. Okay, there you are. If you could please come on down. And I'll read this. The San Marcos City Council hereby recognizes January 2025 as Human Trafficking Prevention Month. Whereas human trafficking erodes personal dignity and destroys the moral fabric of society each day in cities, suburbs, rural areas, and tribal lands, people of every age, gender, race, religion, and nationality are devastated by this grave offense. During National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month, we affirm our unwavering commitment to eradicate this horrific injustice. Human trafficking is often a hidden crime that has no boundaries. Through force, fraud, coercion, and sexual exploitation of minors, traffickers rob countless individuals of their dignity and freedom, splinter families, and threaten the safety of our communities. Human trafficking is a unique evil that requires community-wide collaboration in order to address the conditions that contribute to the exploitation of victims. The City of San Marcos and its community partners are committed to ensuring that those impacted by human trafficking receive the necessary services to address trauma, to meet the individual needs. Each community member and organization can help raise awareness, prevent further trafficking, and support survivors by learning how to take action. Therefore, we, the City Council of the City of San Marcos, hereby proclaim January 2025 as Human Trafficking Prevention Month, and we encourage each person in our community to recognize this pivotal role each individual plays in eliminating all manifestations of modern slavery. So, thank you. And Brian, would you like to say a few words? Whoops.
I would.
There it goes.
First off, we just really thank you for the leadership of you, Mayor Jones, council, city management, city staff. San Marcos is unique in terms of their comprehensive care, very unique, and so we appreciate that. Human trafficking is also unique, unfortunately, on the other side. And so we encourage you to know the indicators of human trafficking. We have a webpage, californiafaithalliance.org, californiafaithalliance.org. One call can change a life. An Uber driver in Northern California made one phone call, freed a teen. Sanitation workers made one call and freed a 10-year-old that was locked up in slavery. So this week was a very good win in that one of FBI's 10 most wanted criminals was apprehended in Florida. And if you'd like to Google that and just see how evil the crimes are of the child sex trafficking. So we encourage you to get involved, be a good neighbor, and really it's for the sake of children who are really, really in bad places. So thank you for this.
Thank you. I'll give you this. And do we have anyone from
do.
Interfaith this
Oh,
evening? I
was
think
gonna
they
say,
were coming as well.
Tom's going to take a picture.
Okay, all right, well, we're going to come right over here so you can be with the rest of the
Okay.
council.
Cool.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
If your supporters want to come down closer, they can.
Okay, okay, I was wondering, and that's why I was like, well, don't we have some, sorry, I wanted you to come down here, but I didn't, I'm sorry, I didn't have your name here. So I'll give this to you. Thank you so much for all you guys do. Appreciate you. Thank you. All right. And would you like to say a few words? Real quick? Okay.
Lisette is here, actually. She's our CEO with Lifeline Community
There she
Services.
is. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't see you, sorry.
Do you want to
Sorry,
come up
Lisette.
and say a couple words? I just want to thank everyone for this recognition. Thank you so much. It means a ton. I have my fabulous team with me today, but this cannot be done just our program alone. It's the efforts of the community, other service providers, and of course the survivors that teach us every single day. So we really appreciate this recognition. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. And then, how about we just take one all together?
Cool.
Great.
This is more about you guys.
Yes, yes. You know, human trafficking is definitely not something we want to talk about, but we have to talk about it. So thank you all for supporting the efforts. And definitely if you see something, say something, because that's a real big part of law enforcement that not everyone talks about. We do rely on the public to play their part in solving crimes. So anyway, thank you everyone for that. And today is our birthday. Yay! A fun fact, we are actually, I think it's 4 years younger than the city of Vista. They incorporated the very same day. I think it was 4 hours prior to us. So we're sisters. So kind of a fun thing. Ooh. Anyway, the San Marcos became incorporated January 28th, 1963, and grew to a present-day population of 94,188, making it one of the fastest-growing cities in North County. Discover Life's Possibilities defines the San Marcos Drive for new and innovative ideas to make our community better for all of you, our residents, businesses, and visitors. San Marcos is home to 8 institutions of higher education, including the region's only public university, Cal State University, San Marcos. Our dedication to parks and community services is another priority of the city of San Marcos, providing rich recreational and cultural programs for children, teens, adults, and seniors. And the city lives up to our nickname, San Parcos, with more than 300 acres of park space. San Marcos's major accomplishments include the development of the Creek Project, and the recent ranking as one of the nation's top cities for families to live by Fortune magazine, as it unites many elements of the city's vision to create a desirable quality of life for residents and businesses. Therefore, we, the City of San Marcos, proclaim January 28th, 2025 as our 62nd anniversary, or birthday, as we like to call it, and we ask our community to join us in celebrating. So thank you very much. Sorry, we'd like to celebrate ourselves. If you would indulge us just for a minute, we're going to take a quick picture. And I do want to say one more thing. It's not just this city council, it's every city council that came before us, and there's a lot of us, and we have such rich history, and a lot of people that are still around with us we can celebrate too. Thank you. All right, moving on to our consent calendar. I would like to pull item number 5, and I think we have a couple of speakers as well. Okay, any other items that any council members wish to pull?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the rest of the consent calendar, please.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Okay, seeing none. Moving on to item number 5. Our first speaker will be Kevin Norris. He is with our Climate Action Implementation Group. Welcome, Kevin.
So greetings. Madam Mayor, council members, and staff, thank you for opportunity to come up here this evening. As a resident of San Marcos for 25 years and a member of the Planning Commission, Climate Action Plan Working Group, and the Clean Energy Alliance Community Advisory Committee, I'd like to point out the work the city is doing on the Climate Action Plan specifically now. I've been a member of the CAP Working Group since its inception and agree with the steps the city's taken to meet state requirements. I believe there are ways of achieving goals responsibly without wasting funds. I believe in a safe, sustainable city, and that to be a staple for San Marcos. A couple of the bullet points I have here that we worked on for the Climate Action Plan that I'm really in favor for are the Transportation Demand Management Ordinance, which addresses the greenhouse gas emissions for vehicles, which is probably the biggest impact on the Climate Action Plan. Since joining the Clean Energy Alliance, residents have at least 50% renewable energy and can opt up to 100% if wanted. Outdoor water use for landscape has been reduced. Solid waste reduction doesn't get the notoriety I believe it should, as well as carbon sequestration. Renewable gas and tree cover is viable as we try to create a better environment for the future. The city will have options when the update to the CAP comes out and will rise to meet them. But for now, I believe the city is meeting state requirements as well as staying responsible to its residents. There's always above and beyond, and with unlimited funds, anything can be done. But not taking funds away from existing programs right now is the right thing to do. The state sets requirements for climate action plans, and they're not easy requirements to meet, nor are they to be taken lightly. Also, the Climate Action Plan Working Group meets quarterly and receives updates from staff and implementation of CAP measures. And they're open to the public for anyone to attend and provide input. I've actually helped put the Climate Action Plan together where I work at UC San Diego and did one update on that. So I really, my hat's off to the city for what they're doing and reaching these goals. One other thing, I heard there's cake and cookies.
Oh, there was. I think it was melting.
Oh,
Sorry, that was a
I'll
little
have to
bit
go.
earlier.
It was an ice cream cake, so it's
Yeah.
probably not
It's
there anymore.
gone. I should have been here earlier. But I really want to thank you, San Marcos, for, like you said earlier, San Marcos. Everybody loves what we're doing here and respects the outdoors and wants to do the responsible thing.
Thank
Wisdom and knowledge.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Kevin. Okay, next speaker is Bryant Rumbaugh, and followed by Alan Garachi.
How is everybody? It's been a minute. I was very happy to happen to run into you, and you'll notice on my consent calendar, I did write number 5 and number 4.
I just saw that as
Okay.
I was
Okay, cool.
as
So
I
I'm
was
glad,
putting
I'm
it.
glad,
Yeah,
I'm glad
sorry.
we pulled it. Let's just say, no, you're
Yes.
good. No. You know, with regarding the climate action plan, you know what I can just say for myself, what I've always just kind of found confusing. I mean, we all agree that we want to be able to breathe clean air, drink fresh water, you know, not live in a world with trash everywhere, that type of thing. But it's very odd for me, you know, and I did the whole, you know, even though I'm a 9-to-5 working man, I did the whole university thing, Bachelor of Science. But you know, there's doctors who I hear from, you know, pretty much coming from one side of this argument, from one side of the other to the other, like 180 degrees opposite. And, you know, I understand the state of California gives you stipulations. I understand I've spoken enough at enough of these, you know, government meetings to, you know, learn about the funding is really what it's all about, and really kind of, you know, jumping through the hoops in a lot of ways, okay? Because we all have a lifestyle that we have to, you know, essentially afford. And, you know, Big Daddy, federal government gives it to the state, and then from the state to, you know, us, let's just say. You know, one little quick story I'll just quick say is there was a video on where there was 5 people that had all the you know, doctorates and all that stuff talking about you know, let's just call it greenhouse gases. And the moderator of the argument said, what percentage of our atmosphere is greenhouse gas? And number 1 said, I want to say 5%, and the next one said 8%, and the other one said, I'm going to split the difference and go 6.5%, and then the other one said 5%. And the answer was 0.02%. So, I mean, we had people that are industry, highly respected, touted as being, you know, knowing what it is they're talking about, who are giving information that is pretty much at that point deceptive. To me listening, okay? So I understand that, you know, truth is very evasive. And really you know, I understand, you know, this current system that we're in, how it's played, I really do. But I want us to just kind of recognize that the fruits of this are not exactly, you know, I described them at Marietta last week or 2 weeks ago, they're sour. Okay, and that doesn't mean that a lot of people aren't doing very well or whatnot. I mean, unfortunately, nowadays, if I ask how Joe's doing, it's, oh, he's making $250,000 a month. He's doing great. That's the bar. We got to change our ways, guys. Thank you.
Next up is Alan Garachi.
Well, good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. It's good to see you all. Happy New Year. My name is Alan Gerasi, and I've been a San Marcos resident since 2008. I sit on the executive board for the Sierra Club of San Diego County, which serves 15,000 members throughout the county of San Diego and Imperial County. I've been involved as part of my role with the Sierra Club with the climate action plans for 7 cities in the county, and recently was involved in the passage of the county's climate action plan. I've gone through the biennial San Marcos Climate Action Plan monitoring report, and although I am delighted that we have a climate action plan in San Marcos, I'm disappointed that the achievements have been minimal. As you all know, the Climate Action Plan here was passed in 2020 with a decade to reduce GHG emissions by 42% of the 2012 levels by the end of the decade, 2030. So here we are, we're already halfway through the decade, and we're only surpassing the 2020 threshold of 4%. So by county-wide standards, with all the climate action plans I've surveyed, our achievement is mediocre at best. We must and can do better. I'm delighted that we joined the Clean Energy Alliance in 2023. That was a good step, but I'm disappointed in them, in us, in not requiring that we have our residents be in the Clean Impact program instead of the Clean Impact Plus program, which is only 50% renewable. The Public Works at EDCO Organic Waste Program and the Transportation Demand Management programs are good, but they're not enough. Why are the goals of environmental justice not even discussed in the report? Let's state some clear goals and provide that all city facilities, parking lots, buildings are resourced to implement a virtual power plant technology like the city of Poway has done and the Poway School District has done. Let's support balcony solar for renters and condo residents like the city of Chula Vista has done. Let's set a goal of all electric buildings and guidelines and incentives for residents and businesses to transition to electric systems and continue to increase EV charging facilities for rental and condo communities. Let's be intentional about covering citywide trail networks with trees and shrubs. And finally, let's think hard about forming an environmental commission to focus on environmental issues on proposed projects and existing citywide facilities, like the Planning Commission does for land use. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. So do we have a presentation from staff? I think I'd ask that we would have one this evening.
Yes, Madam Mayor, we do have a presentation, and I'm going to hand it over to our Planning Director, Joe Farashi, and Simon Karashi.
Thank you, Mayor Jones and council members. Simon Qureshi, who's our sustainability program manager, will be providing the presentation tonight.
Thank you.
Good evening, council members and Madam Mayor. So I'll start the presentation. I'll be starting it with a bit of a background on the adoption of the Climate Action Plan. We worked on the CAP, which was adopted by the City Council in 2020. The CAP looked at the baseline greenhouse gas emissions from the year 2012, and as you can see in this the graphic here, most of the emissions were accounted to be coming from the transportation sector, 54% roughly. Once we established the baseline greenhouse gas emissions for 2012, we projected what the emissions will be in the future. There were three projections. One was business as usual. If nothing was done, the emissions were going to increase over time. The second one was legislatively adjusted emissions. And the third line shows how we can get to the target reduction based on local programs, basically the adoption of CAP. So to reduce to achieve the target reduction by the year 2030, the Climate Action Plan includes 8 strategies and 22 measures that are broken up into these 5 sectors listed on this slide. Just a brief overview. Under transportation sector, there are 14 measures. The city is working on all 14 measures. 5 are ongoing, which means we work on achieving those measures through development projects that come in front of us. 3 are completed and 6 are in progress. And then for energy and water-related measures, they all are ongoing. For solid waste, we just have one measure, which is basically reducing the amount going to landfills. It's going to stay in progress. We're working with EDCO on that. And then carbon sequestration has 2 measures that are ongoing. Just an overview for transportation-related measures. The first strategy is just increasing the use of vehicles that are not using gasoline. We have 4 measures under that, and that includes things like installing EV chargers at public facilities. We have been successful in getting 27 chargers already installed at Sunset Park and at the Creekside Marketplace, and then we are working through a grant to get additional chargers at the other city facilities. Another example is providing grants and funding to residents and businesses as an incentive to install EV chargers. We are running a rebate program, which is pretty successful, and we so far have issued 211 rebates to residents in the city for installation of EV chargers. The next strategy is reducing fossil fuel use. So we have been able to meet and actually exceed what is in the cap itself. We were able to synchronize, interconnect fiber optic connection for 137 intersections, and then 65 of those were synchronized. So it's way above and beyond what's anticipated in the cap. And then roundabouts, it was anticipated to install 2 roundabouts. We already did that project with North City East project, and then 2 are under design or construction for North City West project. The next measure is, the next strategy is reducing the trips or the vehicle miles traveled in the city. The measures here include adoption of TDM ordinance, which we did last year. And also a big one was the implementation of the intra-city shuttle system. The city and NCTD actually is operating NCTD Plus, which is an on-demand shuttle service. It's a pilot program for 12 months, and we got some statistics from them as to how that program is going, and it seems that it's quite successful and well used in the city. As you can see from this slide, the completed boardings increased significantly from June to October. And then boardings per day increased from 7 to 62. So these are the good numbers that we received from NCTD. This heat map here shows where it's used the most, and no surprise here. Areas of interest is Palomar College, Cal State San Marcos, and then San Marcos High School, and some of the other activity nodes in the city. So that's where most of the trips are generating from. Continuing on with the VMT reduction, we also checked with NCTD on data on the boardings and the buses, and it was roughly 6,000. We already talked about the TDM ordinance, that's measure T13, and then the last one is transitioning the city's building and energy permit systems to be fully online so that it reduces trips from our developers and applicants and city residents to come to the city physically, so that measure has been completed as well. Moving on to energy-related measures, the first strategy, increasing building energy efficiency. That measure requires, it has just one measure, which requires that new development, residential only, install alternatively fueled water heaters. During this reporting period, we worked on 7 new residential projects that were subject to this requirement, which will result in a total of about 1,181 units with water heaters that are not going to be based on gas powered. The next strategy is increasing renewable and zero carbon electricity. One of the measures is requiring PV systems at new non-residential development. And we worked with developers on 9 new such projects. We calculated that combined output of electricity will be 2.3 megawatts from these projects. Measure E3 is related to Clean Energy Alliance. Basically, the city joined CEA so that we could switch this electricity to be cleaner than what we were receiving from SDG&E. The city chose 75% carbon-free electricity, of which 50% is renewable. The next sector is water-related measures. The first one is reducing outdoor water use for landscaping. This applies to private development. There were 14 projects that were subject to this measure, and because of the water-efficient landscape ordinance requirements, 26 acres of new landscaping in the city is designed to be water-efficient. The next one is reducing water use in cities' own managed landscape areas. And we worked with Public Works Department to calculate our achievements. And it's based on those calculations, we were able to decrease the water use in city facilities by 57%. Those numbers were achieved because of switching to smart irrigation controllers, removing more water-dependent turf and other plant material with more sustainable and location-friendly plantings. The next one is reducing solid waste in the city. The city works with EDCO on various programs to reduce the waste that is going to landfill. One of the measures is collection of green waste by EDCO. They have an anaerobic digester facility. They collect green waste plus organic waste and take it to their facility, which gets converted to natural gas, which is then used to power their trucks. So it's a really good use and diversion of waste that could have ended up in landfills. The other big project that the city works on is with Solana Center, which is a city's consultant on edible food recovery programs, which was initiated, I believe, more than a year ago, which is resulting in a lot of food that could have gone to landfills and wasted to be reused and re-diverted. And then the last one is related to carbon sequestration measures. The first measure is tree plantings as cities' parks and public rights of way. During this reporting period, we accounted for about 1,200 public trees since 2020. The cap target is 1,500 by 2030, and we are pretty sure that we will definitely surpass that target way before 2030. Most of the trees are because of the large projects in the city. For example, the entire creek, the bridges, all the new CIP projects that are going on in the city, they result in us getting quite a lot of new trees, and then big developments like Highlands and Murai also resulted in new trees that are added to the city's inventory. And then the last measure is related to tree plantings in new developments, and that applies to private projects. We counted 2,263 new trees that we approved with new residential projects. That was it for what we have been doing the last 4 years as we implement a climate action plan. Looking forward, the city's working on updating the creek specific plan, which is anticipated to be completed by 2026. And parallel to that effort, we are also starting to look at updating the climate action plan itself, which we expect to be completed around the same time frame. So that was it. Thank you so much. That's my presentation.
And we have two other things that are upcoming that I've been working on at SANDAG that I know staff knows about that are worth mentioning. One is the direct BRT from Riverside to San Marcos through SANDAG. And then also through SANDAG, I understand we're working on a smart lights project. Very exciting about that. When SANDAG staff approached me on Friday, I literally almost fell off of my seat, because I talk about this until I'm blue in the face. When you're moving the cars that are actually sitting there, already, then we're, keeping the idling time down, which is reduction in GHGs. So any questions of staff from the council? Seeing none, thank you so much, Simon. I really appreciate staff for that presentation and showing what we are doing, which is quite a bit, and we are meeting our goals. So thank you very much. Okay, moving on in our agenda this evening, we have a Oral communications. We have a couple of speakers. Okay. Bryant Rumbaugh will be first up, followed by Grace Spivak, then followed by Marlene Walter.
Madam Mayor, a
Yes.
point of clarification, do we need to vote on our
Oh, I'm sorry. We
item?
do. We do,
it's
actually.
actually
Or was it
noted.
discussion or
You
presentation?
can.
I don't think we
you're
need
welcome
to.
It says receive.
Yeah,
Which
receive,
you undoubtedly did.
which, yeah, we did. I didn't think we needed to, but if we're good.
I think we can consider it received and
We
filed.
received it,
Yes.
for the record. Thank you so much.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you again.
Thanks.
So, all right, sounds good. So, number 4, approving the 2025 legislative platform. You know, what I can say is that when I think of the word legislative, obviously that's pretty much going to be the laws, right? Is that a fair statement, pretty much? You know, what you guys are wanting to have happen here in San Marcos?
Well, this is your time to speak. We can't actually.
I understand.
Yeah,
But
go
you know,
ahead.
like, so what's obviously evident once again is, you know, I mean, here we are on the birthday of your beautiful city, and you know, we have a lack of public, you know, engagement. We need to get them more involved. I mean, we've all grown up in this system where we just kind of defer things to a lot of times, you know, elected officials who, like I said last time I was up here, do everything they can do to keep the wheels greased and keep the train moving. And, you know, like I also said, you know, the fruits of this system are kind of, you know, souring. You know, I mean, we can talk about, we've got not only the military industrial complex, we've got the homeless industrial complex, we've got the climate industrial complex, okay? We've got to get the average person more involved in actually demonstrating what self-governance was supposed to be. And we actually have the technology, just like your smart lights. Me, I'm a common law guy. In other words, I mean, I'm not gonna if it's late at night, I will tell you, if I'm at a red light and there's nobody around, I'm probably gonna maybe go. Guilty. Sheriff, guilty. Okay? As long as I'm not putting somebody in danger. But, you know, by us continuing to accept this reality and continuing to push this forward, I mean, the writing should be on the wall a little bit for a lot of people. I really do think so. I mean, you know, I love the human trafficking. You know, I appreciate that. That's a very, very big problem. And it's incredible what I personally have witnessed over the last, you know, 7 or 8 months trying to be informed about what's going on, just really at that border. Okay, America's very, very important. We need to do a better job. Most people don't even know what America was supposed to be, what it offered them. The ability to not live under that oppressive fist. But we've almost chosen it. I think indirectly, but we need to change. We need to snap out of it. We need to heal. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Grace Spivak, followed by Marlene Walter.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Grace Spivak. I'm here on behalf of Universidad Popular. First, I wanted to share a little bit about myself so you can get to know me a little bit. I'll probably be seeing you guys pretty regularly. So I'm originally from the East Bay Area. I moved down here almost 4 years ago now to attend Cal State San Marcos. I'm currently studying psychology and Spanish, and I'll be graduating this spring semester. My next step is hopefully dependent on acceptances, a master's in social work from either CSUSM or San Diego State University. I was recently hired on at Universidad Popular after interning with them through the service learning program at CSUSM. So I'm excited to be here with you all. A reminder that on April 11th, we're honoring Cesar Chavez. CSUSM has identified April 11th, 2025 as the day of service in honor of Cesar Chavez. We will partner with North County sister colleges and high schools for a community cleanup in his honor. We look forward to working with students and community members to celebrate his legacy of service and social justice. Our Cultivating Leadership, Cultivando Liderazgo project primarily operates at San Marcos Elementary School, where we meet on Tuesdays, and at House of Prayers in Escondido on Monday nights from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're deeply grateful for our partnerships with the San Marcos Unified School District and the House of Prayers, which makes our mission of empowering our community through civic engagement and leadership development possible. Dignity, generosity, and equity are core tenets of Universidad Popular. We acknowledge that many community members are suffering from food insecurity. Our team offers a food pantry available every weekday for the individuals and families of San Marcos. We express our gratitude to those who donate, including the San Marcos Community Action Group, Mayor Rebecca Jones, Sharon Jenkins, and the City of San Marcos. Additionally, we're proud to continue coordinating the Palma Valley Mobile Food Pantry every week, serving the community on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Tuesdays of the month from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Palma Valley Community Center. Also, our team is looking forward to participating in the annual Region Count happening this Thursday, January 30th. Lastly, in regard to the City of San Marcos Community Development Block Grant, we're very appreciative of the opportunity to work with the city on outreach efforts. Just a bit of an update for you all. With a little bit more time, we believe we can achieve a better turnout. Our conversational outreach strategy is more time intensive, but we're confident that it leads to meaningful engagement with the community. We encourage the city to reach for our support. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you. Next up, Marlene Walter. Sorry, Marlene.
Hello, my name's Marlene Walder. Mayor, council members, and staff, I want to say hello. You hear me from election to election, and it's the same with our rent situation. Past mayors I've been talking about, or council members, I should say, about the windows that are missing and the windows that were supposed to be repaired on my property, but they are the park's responsibility, as we went through this before. And it's now 12 years that they have neglected to replace the broken windows or the ones that you can't see out of because they didn't bother removing the plastic that was put upon them. And I've gone out and tried to scrape them myself, but if I mar them, then it'll be my responsibility, so I stopped that. But the big thing is they have put in again about the rent, which I'm not so against it. I'm just against that the rent I've been paying hasn't gone to the upgrades or improvements that have been promised us as tenants. And so, again, I don't see what my rent increase and the higher ones we've had for the past 2 years has done for the residents that are now in the park or had been in the park. There's retaining walls. If we would have had a rain this year, a lot of people would have had mud in their own backyards again. And they don't take the mud out. We're stuck doing it ourselves. Fortunately, my house is not with a cliff coming down or a hill coming down in it. But one of the other things that I really want to speak about is having a safer exit from our park. They made the safety lane cut off, so you can't turn into a safety lane. And when you're going out of our park and need to turn left, there's no place to wait when the cars are coming in both directions. But let's say you get out halfway in one direction, the cars just keep coming and you can't stay in that safety lane. We used to have one, but when they remarked the street, they did away with it. And it would have been the lane that if the cars were turning left into our park and decided not to because it was too dangerous, they could have gone straight into a safety lane, but it's been taken away. And so it's a real important thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Marlene. Could we have staff reach out to Marlene about the from our traffic division, please?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to public hearings. We have ordinance 2025-1557, amending Title III Revenue and Taxation, Chapter 3.08 of the San Marcos Municipal Code regarding business licenses. And we have a presentation this evening.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and council members. The San Marcos Municipal Code, Chapter 3.08, currently assesses an occupational license tax, also known as a business license tax, for the purposes of raising general revenues from persons doing business within the city. On November 26, 2024, you may recall the City Council adopted the 2024 user fee study via City Council Resolution 2024-9389, authorizing the establishment of business license administrative regulatory fees, which are to recover the costs of activities related to business license processing for compliance with applicable laws. As the fees itself have already been established and approved via the public hearing held in November 2024, for the council's consideration tonight is the proposed ordinance amendment, which would amend Chapter 3.08 to implement the already approved business license administrative fees, as well as to clarify and clean up the language of San Marcos Municipal Code, Chapter 3.08. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions of staff? No? Seeing none, I move to close the public hearing.
Second?
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Seeing none. A motion to approve. I don't think we have any questions because we already kind of went through most of this. This is just cleaning it up and codifying it.
Is that a motion?
So yes, that's a motion to approve, yes.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Okay, seeing none. Moving on to oral communications. Do we have any further? No. Okay. Reports, including, So I actually had Sandag last week, and we have another meeting, a special meeting coming up this week. The gist of what we actually spoke about at our last meeting was mostly, we had, at the previous meeting before that, we had actually appointed our new leadership. This last meeting, I actually can't find my notes. They just disappeared, and I had it pulled up on my website too. Oh, here we go. We had the ethical climate survey, which is kind of interesting. So it's staff, and then we talked about how they feel with one another, and then also how they're actually feeling with the board members. The board members got a very low grade, which was not too surprising. We just went through some really rough times with both our director, which we have a new director, Mario Orso. He came from Caltrans. I feel cautiously optimistic. As I had mentioned a few minutes ago, it seems like we're moving the needle on some of the San Marcos initiatives. So feeling pretty good about that with the smart lights, and then also the direct bus from Riverside to San Marcos. So the fact that those things are being looked at, and then also moving forward with plans on the 78, which requires a lot of planning to get that to move forward on the HOV lanes. And then also there is some discussion about if there is money, which that's always a big if, but the numbers that are coming back on North County Transit Plus and CTD Plus, which is our, it's like an intra-city shuttle, but it's, for those short microtransit trips, that actually is looking pretty promising. So we want to continue those efforts as well. But anyway, at Sandag, the board members didn't do too well, so it gives us a lot of room for improvement. I guess that's the upside of it. Anyway, and then we talked a little bit more about there's a lot of new board members down at Sandag, so hopefully bringing everyone on board. And then just today, we actually had our subcommittee appointments, and congratulations, Deputy Mayor, you are an alternate now on one of the committees. And other than that, we have our meeting coming up on this Friday, which should be more of a robust conversation about pretty much everything. And then, let's see, who's up next on our meetings. League of California Cities, Councilmember Musgrove is homesick. We send him our best wishes. Then followed by NCTD, not plus, but we want more plus. You had a meeting. Oh, and I think you had big news about yourself. Aren't you vice chair?
Yeah, we had our meeting last week. This was our first meeting of the year, so we reorganized as well as a board. And Carlsbad Council member Priya Bhat Patel was elected to be chair this year, and I was elected to be vice chair. So I'm very much honored to be able to serve in that capacity. And then we also, thank you, and we also chose and selected our internal committee and our external committee appointments as well. And they do things a little bit differently than we do. We went into closed session, like for a prolonged period of time, right in the middle of the meeting. I kind of felt bad for all the folks that were there. They don't do it before the meeting or after the regular meeting. They just do it right in the middle. John was there, and I felt bad because there was 30 people in the audience, and they all had to, just wait for us. And we were in there for 45 minutes or something. But I can't talk about that much further. And then, we had the other big news we had is we had our independent annual audit, and there was no findings, which is good, and that went really well. Those were the highlights.
Wait, was it noticed to be in the middle of the meeting? I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised, but yes, it was on the agenda.
I was on there for 6 years. We never did that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
All right, well, they're switching things up, but yeah, how awkward when you have people waiting out there for 45 minutes. Okay. North County Dispatch, Joint Powers Authority.
We meet next month.
Okay. Clean Energy Alliance.
Thank you, Mayor. We are meeting this Thursday.
Okay. City Council business visits. We went on one yesterday, Councilmember LeBlanc and I. Okay, so if you guys if you've never heard of Cravery Cookies, they're a new business to San Marcos, but they were actually, they've been in business for quite a while. And interestingly enough, Cookies Kanamori was here before that. And I had gone, I want to say that was maybe 2017. I went on a business visit there. They have a lot of their cookies and they're, prepackaged and everything. They have them at like TJ Maxx, Home Goods, which is our new business that just opened recently. And then also, I think Marshall's has them. Yes. A lot of places like that. But I think you should take over because it was it was only your second business visit, but you've had some really good visits lately. You've been lucky.
I have a special place in my heart for the Cravery. I actually was a big fan of them back when I lived in New York. In about 2011, I discovered them online, and I ordered their cookies all the time to New York. So when I found out that they have moved to San Marcos as of last year to conduct all of their shipping operations, and they make all the cookies there, I was so excited to be able to be on this business visit, and it was very cool. We got a whole tour of the whole factory, saw how they do all of the baking, the shipping. It's really impressive. Also, a fun fact, they used to have a store in Brescia that shut down during the pandemic, but they said that if you go to their location between 11 to 1 on the weekdays, you can actually request to buy a box of cookies, and they're delicious cookies. So I highly recommend trying them out, and they also sell the broken cookies at a discounted price. So that's really exciting. And they also ship nationwide. They do local catering, just a really great family-owned business that it's really great that they chose to move up to San Marcos, and they're really happy here. So hopefully we can, give them a little business and welcome them.
A little cookie love.
Yes.
And they merged the two of them in 2024, I think it was.
Yes.
And they kind of interesting. They do a lot of corporate gifts for the Cravery, and then now that the two have merged together, and they're expanding, and they're going to be moving all things around. And what were the little snack things that they?
Oh, these pop oats.
Pop
That's
oats,
what they
yeah,
were called.
pop oats,
These
yeah.
little packages of healthy oats that kind of taste like a mix between sunflower seeds and
Corn nuts. Corn nuts, yeah.
And they had
They
different
taste like corn
flavors, and it's a healthy snack. They'd love to partner with schools and offer the healthy snack as an option for kids. That's something they're looking to go into. They're really passionate about what they do, and it's a great family.
Family-owned, completely
Yes,
family-owned.
Yeah, they started at farmers markets in 2009. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was just.
It's a lot of fun. And don't worry, we wore hair nets.
Yes, we
Luckily,
did.
we don't have any
We don't have a
pictures of
photo.
it. I had sticking up hair the entire day, I kid you not. All right, with that, that is our last, any council commentary this evening? Seeing none, this meeting's adjourned.